The rain hadn't stopped for 6 hours, and neither had Marcus Bennett's doubts about the decision that was about to change his life forever. The moment his headlights caught a woman standing motionless on the shoulder of Route 9 outside Asheville, North Carolina, a baby wrapped against her chest, soaked through, staring at nothing. Before we go further, if you believe in kindness, hope, forgiveness, compassion, and second chances, take a moment to like this video, drop a comment, share it with someone who needs a little hope today, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a story like this one. Marcus almost drove past her. He'd told himself that after the year he'd had, losing his job at the lumber mill, watching his marriage crumble under the weight of bills, neither of them could pay. He didn't have room in his truck or his heart for anyone else's trouble. But something about the way she held that baby, shielding its face from the rain with her own body, made him hit the brakes and reverse 50 feet down the empty highway. He rolled down the window and asked if she needed a ride. She looked at him for a long moment, rain dripping off her lashes, and said only that she needed somewhere to go. She didn't say where. She didn't say why. She just needed somewhere. Her name was Grace Coleman, and the baby, barely 4 months old, was named Noah. Marcus learned this much as she climbed into the passenger seat, murmuring quiet thanks, her voice hoarse like she hadn't used it in hours. He didn't press her with questions. Not yet. He just turned the heater up and drove, glancing sideways at her trembling hands as she rocked Noah gently, humming something low and broken that sounded like it used to be a lullaby before life wore the melody down. 10 miles passed in silence before she finally spoke, telling him in fragments that she'd left a house that wasn't safe anymore, that she'd been walking since before dawn, that she had $11 and a diaper bag, and nowhere in the world that felt like it belonged to her. Marcus didn't know what to do with a stranger's pain like that. He wasn't a hero. He was a 34-year-old man living above his brother's garage, working odd construction jobs, barely keeping his own head above water. But he thought about his mother, who used to say that God puts people in your path, not because you have much to give, but because you have enough. So he drove Grace and Noah to the only place he could think of, his brother Thomas's house, and asked if they could stay just one night. Thomas, a quiet man of deep faith who ran a small auto shop, took one look at Grace's exhausted face and didn't ask a single question. He simply opened the door wider. One night became a week became a month. Grace found work at a diner on Tunnel Road, and Marcus, who hadn't smiled much in the past year, found himself looking forward to driving her there each morning before his own shifts, watching Noah grow steadier, chubbier, safer with every passing day. Slowly, the walls Grace had built around herself began to soften. She told him about the fear that had driven her out into the storm that night, about choosing her son's safety over everything familiar, even when familiar felt like the only thing she had left. Marcus told her about his own unraveling, how he'd stopped believing that kindness meant anything in a world that had taken so much from him. Somewhere between her gratitude and his healing, something neither of them expected began to grow, not rushed, not dramatic, just steady, like sunlight returning after a long winter. By the time autumn came, Grace had her own small apartment 2 blocks from the diner, paid for with her own hard-earned wages. But she and Marcus still shared Sunday dinners with Thomas, still watched Noah take his first wobbling steps together on the same porch where it all began. Marcus liked to say that he stopped his truck that night to help a stranger. But really, that stranger and her son had rescued a part of him he thought was gone forever. If this story touched your heart even a little, I'd love for you to like this video and share it with someone who might need a reminder that kindness still exists in this world. And before you go, I want to ask you something special. Leave a comment below and tell me, have you ever stopped for a stranger? Or has a stranger ever stopped for you? I read every single one, and I'd love to hear your story.